not a game, it's a rich thing.
What's up, y'all? This is Tasha. I am back with another review of Love Without Borders. Thank you so much for stopping into my channel. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button below. We are so close to 2K. So if you are watching me and not subscribed, why are you not subscribed? Go ahead and do it real quick. It's free. You ain't got to pay for it. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and make sure to comment in the comment section below. We are going to jump into this episode of Love Without Borders. This episode, and I think I may do this going forward, I'm going to go couple by couple because the show does jump from person to person kind of fast. And I feel like in the last reviews, it was really kind of continuing to circle back to all these couples. So it's like maybe just break their scenes out couple by couple and go through the review that way. We'll see how it plays out, but that's what I did for this episode. So I'll do that going forward. I really want this show to pick up a little bit. I do like the pace of the show as far as, you know, we're on episode 4 and, you know, we're already talking about day 9 in Ghana. So I'm like, okay, I can get with it. Because if this was Married at First Sight and we were episode 4, child, we would probably still be at somebody's wedding at this point. Like, it just moves so slow. But this show moves really fast. So I do appreciate that fact. Okay, so let's jump into the review, y'all. We're going to start with Phil and Carmen. It is day 9 in Ghana. Phil and Carmen, they're out rollerblading at the skate park because that's something that they have in common. Carmen says that she's feeling some chemistry, but he has not made a move on her. And she's like, I'm not sure why. And I'm like, girl, this man has been holding out. Once he starts, he probably ain't going to be able to stop. So he want to, you know, keep it reserved for a little bit longer and then be ready to go to Pound Town soon enough, okay? He tells her about what his mom was doing while she was in Ghana, helping with schools and festivals and telling her that she actually worked with the Marleys. Then Carmen starts to tell him like, oh, I met Rita Marley, which is Bob Marley's wife. She was like, oh, I met her when I was younger and she touched me and I was so excited. And he was like, well, you kind of want to know something? She's my godmother. And it was like, what? That's amazing. So they kind of bond on that a little bit. Later on in the episode, we see that basically the two of them are talking and Phil is kind of asking her kind of about them and, you know, where they're going and how things are feeling between them. We then see a flashback moment of her asking about his social media. And he was like, no, we can address that later. So I believe that was the day before. And then that day they were sitting down talking. She was like, you know, it wasn't real hard to find you, but I found you on social media. So she says that he does a lot of thirst trapping on IG. We see the pictures of him, you know, kind of, you know, no shirt on, little like boxer brief shorts, doing dances and grinding, like, you know, trying to show off his eggplant, if you know what I mean, okay? She says that it really doesn't make sense for him to kind of have all these things because then it really makes it look like he is all about sex. And he's like, well, I'm sure your Instagram has like, you know, you in bathing suits and bikinis and things. And she's like, yes, I live on the beach. And they show a few pictures of her in her bikinis and bathing suits as well. So he's like, I'm kind of feeling like she's being a bit of a hypocrite at the moment. And I can see both sides. Y'all know what I mean. A girl, maybe it is a bit hypocritical, but I feel like a woman can, you know, she's showing those different, you know, her bathing suits and things like that. And that can really be appreciated by both sexes. Men, you know, when you out here in like, you know, your little gray sweatpants showing it, like you know what you're doing in those pictures. Like that's kind of more blatantly showing without really showing your male counterpart. Okay, that's what it's giving. But he's like, you know, I'm not embarrassed about anything that's on there. I do get his point because even when I'm dating people, I don't necessarily exchange social media right away. Not that I have anything to hide on my social media, but that is a more personal side of most people, and you know, sharing things that they like to do, sharing sometimes their family, different things like that, that when you're just getting to know somebody, you may not want them to have that type of access to you yet, because if things don't work out, they then still could potentially have this access to you that you don't want them to have. So I get it, Phil, but then I also don't get it because you moved all the way here for 3 months to be with this girl. So let's get this show on the road, okay? But, she says that it's kind of weird because she just felt like he was trying to hide it. They basically get into an argument, child. She's trying to talk. He's trying to talk. She's like, you keep cutting me off. He's like, you are always talking. And it kind of really blew up for no reason. And she just ends up getting up and leaving him in the space. So we'll see where they are next week. Moving on to Gurleen and Shreyas. It is now day 5 in Dubai. They are still at the family apartment. They are recapping the pool party where she just had to, pick up all the trash and do the dishes and things like that. Gurleen says things got wild, but I had a good time. And Shreyas was like, yeah, it was a little bit crazy towards the end. Yeah, pretty much you were a bit crazy towards the end. The rest of us was cool. He says that he wasn't trying to disrespect her, but basically this is just life in Dubai. And the producer we see in the confessional is talking to her and asking her about it, and she don't even remember. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say it was the alcohol that was taken over for her to kind of just be, acting like a little bit of a winch. The last episode, since she don't even remember what happened. She definitely had too much to drink. So I will reserve any further judgment. I'm not the biggest fan of Gurleen, but I'll reserve any further judgment for the rest of the episodes. Shreya says really the priority just to get her comfortable. And he really doesn't drag issues from day to day. So we see them preparing to go apartment hunting. So the two of them can move out on their own to really get to know each other. Now, day 9 in Dubai, we see them packing up. They were able to find a 2-bedroom furnished apartment, and they signed a month-to-month lease. So they are moving out, child. Shreya's mom still trying to feed them as they headed out the door. She's like, oh, we'll call you later. Bye. Like, let me get away from this woman as fast as I can. Gurleen, Shreya's going to pick his mama every time. So you might as well get on board or bring your tail right on back to these United States, okay? Shreya says he's nervous because he's never lived with anyone, only with his family. He says he's really just trying to support her because she's independent and used to being on her own. So he's really pushing his feelings to the side, and this is a really big step for him. And I truly hope she acknowledges that this is a huge step for him. Like, I realize kind of over here in America, that's really the norm is to be, you're adult, you're moved out, you're on your own, you're no longer living with your family. But in other cultures, the norm is to live with your family until you've, found your spouse and you want to leave. So I really want her to respect how big of a deal this is for him, and how he really is trying to make her feel comfortable with the change, even if it's making him really uncomfortable. So I hope she can see past herself and see that he really is trying here. So they show up to their new apartment. Gurleen child is already complaining because they have a TV. Their names are supposed to be on it, but only Shreya's name is on it. Her name is not on it. I'm like, girl, pipe down. It is not that serious. She goes to take her things to, her room. He goes to the other room, and basically she's kind of like, all right, I'm just going to kind of get ready for bed and go to bed. And he was like, well, I really kind of wasn't expecting that on the first night. I don't know what you was expecting, Shreyas. Maybe for y'all just to sit around and talk or eat, have drinks. I don't know, but maybe you should have expressed yourself in that moment. But I'm not getting a whole lot of chemistry from y'all at this point. So again, I don't know what you was expecting to happen at this point. We then see the two of them are getting ready. They're going on a desert safari ride. He's excited to kind of show her authentic Dubai. They arrive in the desert. They're getting their hair all tied up. The man kind of has to explain the difference between the male and female wraps for their hair. Shreya said, we kind of look like Aladdin and Jasmine. I was like, you kind of do, okay? They drive a little short distance in like this little go-kart, golf cart type of car. And they ride some camels. And child, these camels were huge. I would have been terrified. Do you hear me? I have ridden a horse before, and I said, good Lord, if you take me off of this horse, I'm not going to ride another horse, and I have not been on another horse since then. The camels, while I probably would have maybe done it because of where I was and the experience of it all, I would have been terrified because these things looked huge, okay? Anyway, it's really beautiful out there in the desert. You can just really see like for miles and miles. You can really see the sky and the sunset that they do sit down and look at really without any, obstructions of, houses, buildings, anything like that. It really is beautiful, but it's low key boring. So the two of them sit in the sand. They watch the sunset. They talk about goals for the next year because it's close to the end of the year. So I'm assuming this show maybe was recorded around this time last year, since they're saying it's getting close to the end of the year. And it really is beautiful with them watching the sunset, y'all. But they just sit here together like they're not even that close to each other. No arm around somebody. There's no holding hands. There's no kiss. There's no even run my fingers through your hair. Like, it was just nothing between the two of them. And I'm just like, are we wasting our time here with these two? Because I'm not feeling any type of chemistry coming off between either one of them. Like, I just don't know. Let's shift gears to Brian and Dana. It is now day 6 in Ireland. She and Brian are hitting the town. They got their arms draped around each other. They look like a regular old couple. When you're looking at them compared to Gerline and Shreyas, it is just like completely night and day. She says she's starting to feel butterflies and it's a bit of a spark, so she thinks there is potential. Of course you do, Gerline. You thought that from the moment you stepped foot in that apartment. They window shop at a little jewelry store. Of course, Dana is hitting around to the engagement ring, but Brian is like, yeah, we're only looking, pump the brakes, basically. They find like this little globe thing, kind of like with these Christmas lights. Like, it was really pretty. She sits on his lap. He tells her basically, how happy he is. They just can't get enough of kissing each other. You would pass by them and think they just newlyweds, completely in love and infatuated with one another, child. I'm here for it. If they like it, I love it. We then see the two of them go on a road trip later on in the episode, and we get a fun fact about sheep where they put ink pouches on the male sheep so that they're different colors. So then when they kind of go to get it in with the female sheep, the ink color rubs off on that sheep. So then they kind of know who's banging who around here when it comes to the sheep world of it all. Okay. They then arrive to this place called Cliffs of Moher, which is basically, it's like this beautiful landscape of like waters, hill, like it truly is breathtaking. Like, that place looks so beautiful. Dana says she can see herself living here. Everything that Brian says, she just agree with. He's like, can you see yourself living in West Ireland? Yes. Can you see yourself living on a farm? Yes. Even with a poor old Irish farmer? Yes, yes, yes. I can see myself doing all of it. Just marry me now, please, is what I feel like she's about to say at any moment now. Okay. Moving over to Naim. He has finally arrived in Panama City. He says he doesn't know what to think or what to expect. He's in the airport. He's looking for flowers because he's like, Mama always said, don't show up nowhere empty-handed. He's in the airport. He's speaking decent Spanish. Actually, I can't complain. He finds a taxi on the way to her place. He picks up some roses, and we see that 40 minutes later, he shows up. He says that as he's getting out of the taxi, that he prays to God. She is cute, but because he's come a long way. And I was like, sir, I mean, he's not that easy on the eyes, is how I'm going to put it. In my opinion, for a man that I would choose, it really ain't doing it for me. But I'm just like, you ain't no Morris Chestnut out here to be acting like, I hope she is just, drop dead gorgeous. All right now, Naim. All right now. So he gets there, he steps out, and then we see a young woman step out. Her name is Chandra, and she is really gorgeous. He is really happy that she is pretty. He just keeps looking at her, keeps saying that she is beautiful. Like, he just cannot get past how beautiful she is. Erica lets us know that they were matched because she can match his playful spirit, but she also knows how to be serious, which can be the balance that Naim needs. She gives him a tour of the place and shows, her bedroom, shows where he will be sleeping. And it's this teeny tiny guest room, which it's either a twin bed or a day bed, and it has teddy bears all over the place. I was like, did you think a kid was coming here? This is a grown, over 6 foot, I believe, man. Like, ma'am. Love Without Borders. Y'all could have done a better job. I guess you wanted to be real authentic, but y'all maybe could have done a better job of picking a neutral location for these people to live for the 3 months that they're here. Just food for thought for maybe the next season if there is another season. She has to ask him again what his name is because she forgot, and he says to call him Chocolate, and she's like, Chocolate? Okay, I guess once you go black, you never go back. Oh, okay. She says Erica did good and there is an initial attraction. I said, well, all right then, girl. They talk about how dating has been going for them and what they're looking for in a partner. We then find out she's a little bit short-tempered, and I was like, he like to goof around a lot. You gonna go off on him in a matter of days, okay? With day 1 in Panama, Chandra has cooked some dinner for them. They eat outside on the balcony, on the floor. He's rather tall, so he's struggling with the small space. She just finds it hilarious. Like, she can't stop laughing on the balcony. She can't stop laughing in the confessional. I'm like, girl, it ain't that funny, but I guess. They are about to take him out of the food, and she tells him, I hope you don't get diarrhea. And I was like, I hope not either, since, it's new food in a different culture, but not when somebody about to take the first bite of food, girl. Like, that's not what we want to think about in this moment, okay? Hopefully his tummy will be a-okay. She then tells him that she grew up in the hood and she really saw a lot of crime. He shows her a scar on his face and says that basically he got jumped. I'm not sure when, if it was when, he was a small child, teenager, young adult, I'm not sure. But she said she was happy to see a deeper side of him. And he tells her that she is cool. You cool. I'm liking some things about you. And I'm like, it's only been day 1. Everything is exciting on day 1. Move over to our last couple of Aaron and Mael. It is day 3 in Paris, and Aaron is alone in the apartment for the first time because Mael went swimming, and he's trying to talk to us in a confessional, and while he does, his phone goes off, and he's like, oh, that's our first text message. Mael just texted me a smiley face, and I was like, are we 13? What? I'm gonna text you a smiley emoji just because I left you to go swimming. Okay, Aaron says the reality is really hitting him that everything is so different than what he is used to, and he's really in his head, and it's making him worry a bit. Again, I can't blame him for this. Like, that's a lot to deal with. I would probably be the same at this moment of kind of, that first day or 2 is just really exciting. And then, usually around day 3, 4, 5, you like, oh crap, I made the decision to live here for the next few months. That is scary. Nothing outside looks familiar. There are no faces that look familiar to me. I know I have the person that I'm here to see, but they are still a stranger to me. Like, I can't even imagine. Okay, somebody have to come with me that I know. It is now day 4 in Paris. Mael and Aaron, they're walking the streets of Paris, eating some bread, child. I think with chocolate on it. I would definitely be here for it, okay? Aaron tells Mael that he kind of got quiet the previous day, and he's like, I'm not sure if you noticed. He's like, yeah, I did. But he explains to him that it was because he was just a little bit anxious. So when he tends to be anxious, he tends to recoil back into himself. And he just said, it's just everything, again, being different that kind of hit him at once. Mael tells him that, he was really nervous the first day, but now he really doesn't put too much pressure on himself, and they'll just, see where it goes. But they both share that they do actually like each other. So we're making progress, I guess. Day 6 in Paris, Mael and Aaron. Mael is trying to get Aaron to wear a scarf, child. It's kind of a bit of a fashion statement, and it ain't working out so great, but okay. They go to a restaurant. Mael is giving him some suggestions on what to try and recommends mainly French cuisines, with one of them being snail and the other being foie gras. I believe that's how it's pronounced, which happens to be the liver of a goose. And I was like, ew, yuck. No, thank you. Aaron says that it reminds him of cream cheese, and that makes Mael pretty offended. I could imagine, because I'm assuming that's a major French delicacy, but I don't want no liver of nobody's goose either. So no, thank you. All right. Mael asks Aaron about his ex, and basically, saying it was a fail because kind of they went to basically act like they were in a relationship, and it sounds like Aaron thought he was in a relationship, and the ex was like, no, we are not boyfriends. But this was, you know, the first guy that he dated. His family didn't even know that he was gay. He was ready to introduce this guy to his family, and of course in the process introduced that he was actually gay. So of course, because things fell out with them, he didn't go through with that piece, but he was like, I still had FaceTime my mom. The minute she got on, I kind of just busted in tears and basically told her that I was gay. Mael says that, you know, when he told his family, it took his dad about 2 years to get past the fact that he was gay. And I was just like, wow. Like, I know that can be hard, and it may be harder for fathers and their sons, but like, as someone that has 2 daughters, like, if one of them ever came to me and told me that they were gay, like, I would not flinch. Like, it wouldn't even really be a big deal. I would still love them the exact same. So I couldn't imagine taking 2 years out of my life, my kids' life, whatever it is, to just try to get over their lifestyle that they have chosen for themselves. Like, people, it is 2022. Let's get over it, okay? Aaron ends up buying some roses from somebody at the restaurant, gives it to Mael, and Mael is like, nobody's ever given me roses, so I guess it's just like a real first date, okay? I guess, but y'all, but that was the episode for Love Without Borders. Like I said, it wasn't a whole lot. I am really hoping, of course, as the days go on, that, you know, it starts to pick up a little bit, or maybe even if every episode doesn't have to focus on all the couples every episode, so they can get a little bit deeper with some of the couples and actually what's going on with them, because that could probably be my only gripe about this show so far, if I had anything to say, is because the scenes are clipped and so short that it's like, you, by the time you kind of get into the couple and what's happening, they are already moving on to the next couple in that scene. So I'm gonna stick with it for now. We'll see what happens in the coming episodes. Please let me know y'all thoughts on the episode in the comments below. And until then, I'll catch y'all in the next video.